My guest had a visitation from Jesus, and since being taught how to be stress-free, he's lived that way since 1977. I mean, without one down day. He lives 24/7 in supernatural shalom.
Is there a supernatural dimension? A world beyond the one we know? Is there life after death? Do angels exist? Can our dreams contain messages from heaven? Can we tap into ancient secrets of the supernatural? Are healing miracles real? Sid Roth has spent over 35 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid for this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. I just love breathing in the rarefied air of heaven. Did you know statistics tell us that 1 in 3 Americans have emotional problems? How about you? Do you worry a lot? Are you stressed out? Sometimes your temper gets control over you. Sometimes you're depressed. Sometimes you're discouraged. Sometimes people say things and you get your feelings hurt so bad it takes you a couple of days to recover. How would you like to live stress-free 24/7? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Do you know you'd put doctors out of business? Because God gave us such a great body that if we're living stress-free and living in the high road 24/7, I believe our body could take care of anything. Well, when I come into my guest's presence, Larry Hutton, I feel emanating from him just this wonderful peace because he had a visitation from the Lord in which the Lord taught him step by step how to live stress-free, worry-free, anger-free, depression-free, discouragement-free, not have hurt feelings when things come. But Larry, you started life out in a very crippled state. How many different allergies did you have?
Gosh, they did a test on me and found out I was allergic to like 120 different things, said that I had a deficiency in
120? How could you even function?
I know. The doctor said the only way you could live normal is if you dig a cave about 200 yards down into the earth and, cover yourself up, and then you could live normal.
Well,
that wouldn't be normal.
Did you resolve that you just had to live that way?
Well, yeah, because the church that I was raised in told me healing and miracles had been done away with. Thank God they haven't been. And so, yeah, I just thought I have to put up with it.
So what happened to you?
Well, I went to a little church that believed in miracles. They prayed for me. I believed that I could be healed, and I found out Jesus is a healer today, just like he was when he walked the earth, and I received him as my healer, and I got healed, and that was many, many years ago.
Now, out of curiosity, was it a gradual healing? Was it instant?
Actually, when I prayed and believed I received him as my healer, I didn't feel anything. It was about 7 days later when all of a sudden every symptom left my body and I got to throw all the medicine away.
How much medicine were you taking in shots?
I was taking 3 different medicines a day, morning, afternoon, and night. Plus, I was having to give myself 2 injections every week. And then, even with all of that, I would have to go to the doctor and get these big booster shots occasionally every other month or so.
But you had to live such a limited life.
Well, without the medicine, yes, with the medicine, it was able to let me go play sports and stuff like I did. But even with the medicine, like I said, if I got an attack, I'd have to stay in bed, miss school, miss my ball games, whatever. So,
in 1977, he had a visitation that changed his life forever, and I believe is going to change your life forever. Tell me about that.
totally. Talk about life-changing, Sid. This was just the most awesome thing I think that ever happened to me. The Lord came in my room and started talking to me and said, I'm going to show you in my word.
Was this the first time he ever came like that, or had he previously?
You know, I would have to say the first presence that I felt strong, and then I heard the voice of the Lord speak to me. I believe it was, yes, sir. But he came in.
Were you doing something spiritual at the time?
No, I wasn't. That's the funny thing is I wasn't. I was just, about my business, and don't even remember really what I was doing. But no, I wasn't praying, wasn't worshiping or anything. All of a sudden, the Lord said, I'm going to show you in my word what to do. And if you do what I tell you, you'll never have another down day the rest of your life.
Wow. Did you just hear that? You will never have a down day the rest of your life. Well, that's wonderful for Larry, but he teaches what the Lord taught him. And as he teaches, people walk into this realm. Did he say anything else to you?
Well, he said, now, I don't just mean down. I mean, bad temper, problem with anger, depression, discouragement, worry, and stress, which is huge in our society today. He said, I'm going to show you how to live free from all of that. And that's when he started teaching me about what Jesus did at the cross for us. When he bore our sins, that he also bore every negative emotion for us.
Okay, but I have to ask you a question. And I'm sure this is a question that you want to know right now. To live in this life, it's not a perfect life.
No.
There are not perfect people. And there's a very imperfect devil roaming around.
Yeah.
So Larry had tests. Tell me about one of your first tests.
Well, the Lord told me that I was going to have tests because
he warned you ahead of time.
Yeah, in fact, the Bible even warns us. And he said, in the world you're going to face tribulation, but I've already overcome the world. He said, so one of the tests that I had to face, I was just working for Delta Airlines as a businessman, and all of a sudden some lies were told about me at work. I'd been with Delta quite a few years, and all of a sudden it looked like I'm going to lose my job. Well, when you're at a job that you absolutely just love doing, and you think you're going to be there the rest of your life, and you want to be there because you like it, and all of a sudden you're going to lose it. You're going to lose your job, your money, your vocation, everything. I mean, then stress tried to start coming, and worry and depression, all that stuff that everybody faces started trying to come. And the Lord spoke to me, said, do you remember what I told you in my word? And all of a sudden the Holy Spirit brought to my remembrance, yes, in the world I'm facing tribulation, but be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. And so he said, are you facing tribulation? I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at the feelings, all the emotion that you're facing right now. I want you to look at it, group all those feelings, the depression, the fear, the stress, everything, group it all together and talk to it like you would a person. And this is what I want you to say. Jesus told me you were coming, and he's already defeated you. Sid, as soon as he said that to me, I rose up, just like I was talking to you. I said, hey, I'm talking to those emotions, those feelings. I said, hey, Jesus told me you were coming, and guess what? You're already whooped. I mean, I used one of those, backwood terms. And I said, no, I've already got the peace of God in me. I'm not having you. And all of a sudden...
But wait a second, that's got nothing to do with these people saying these nasty things about you. How could you feel good about that?
Because all of a sudden, when I acted on what God showed me, his grace enveloped me, and I felt like Job in that hedge. I felt like all of a sudden I was in, for lack of a better term, a peace bubble. And for the next few days, it was like I didn't care what anybody said or what anybody thought. I am going to live in the peace and joy of God, and I did. And you know what happened?
What?
A few days later, the whole thing got exposed, turned around, and I came out smelling like a rose, better than when the whole thing started, because I didn't worry, I didn't get in stress or depressed or in fear about it. I let the Lord take care.
I wonder if that's why the Lord tells us to worry for nothing. I mean, he says that, yes. But are you able to? Am I able to? Let's find out more. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.
Get ready to reserve your place on the Sid and Joyce Roth Appointment in Jerusalem, Israel tour.
We've purposely kept this top quality tour under $3,000, and that includes all taxes and tips.
Don't miss out on going with Sid Roth on this Israel tour for this special low price. Call now for the free brochure at 1-800-959-1062. Please specify the Sid Roth Israel trip when you call, or visit our website at sidroth.org.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Larry Hutton. And when I'm reminded of the commercial, when Hutton speaks, everyone listens. Well, I have to tell you, when I walk into a room where Larry Hutton is, I feel the atmosphere of heaven. I feel the atmosphere of peace. Why? Because in 1977, he had a visitation from Jesus, and Jesus showed him step by step how he or anyone he teaches can walk in this type of peace. Has anyone else ever said that to you, remarked that to you, that when they come into your presence, they can feel peace coming out of you?
That's a high compliment, Sid, but yes, I have had people say, it's just so peaceful being with you and so peaceful being around you. And I believe it's the peace of God, because we can have it. We can all have it.
How about people that perhaps have high blood pressure, perhaps have insomnia? I would have to believe that over the years you get a lot of people that say they get healed of this.
When I was flying here yesterday, I was reading a testimony that we got into the ministry, and this lady for 32 years had been bound with sleep disordered insomnia and high blood pressure and that kind of thing. And she got a hold of the truth that the Lord showed me about how to live in peace all the time, and she put it to work in her life. And she said, now for years I've been totally free. And she wrote us the testimony, and I thought, oh Lord, you're so good, because this is for anybody and everybody.
How many years? Insomnia and high blood pressure?
32 years.
Did you get that? 32 years. There is freedom. I want Larry to give me one strong nugget, because I have many, many nuggets from him now, but I want him to give you a present right now. I want, of all the things, the step-by-step that the Lord showed you, tell me one.
Here's a nugget that so blessed me and changed my life. Is because I was raised in Florida picking fruit as my first job at 15 years of age. I understood fruit. And the Lord told me that His peace, and of course this is in the Bible, His peace is called fruit. And so when He told me that peace was fruit, He said, Larry, my fruit of peace is not seasonal fruit. He said, it's not seasonal. Well, I understood seasonal because I used to go pick oranges.
Right.
I knew seasons. Sure. And when He told me it wasn't seasonal, it just exploded on the inside of me. It was like, whoa, then that means that I can live in this peace 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that's when I started doing that, realizing that, hey, wait a minute, I don't care what the atmosphere is, who says what or does what, no matter what's going on, I have this peace and I can live in it all the time.
Now, tell me a bit of what you teach on Isaiah 53.
Well, Isaiah 53, the great redemptive chapter,
yes,
many people call it, I found out that Jesus not only bore my sins, He not only bore my sickness, which was huge because I got healed of that disease.
And well, the 103rd Psalm says, bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits. He's forgiven all of my sins, healed all. You know what? When I was going to say healed all of my diseases, I heard that someone was healed right now. Someone's neck and then another person's back was just healed right now. And even someone's hip. If you'll do something you could not do before, I don't care what it is, you will walk into a wonderful, wonderful river of God's healing. So, Larry, but it also shows something else. Explain.
Yes, it also shows that He bore our griefs and our sorrows, our stress, our depression, our hurt feelings, all of those negative emotions that can rule our lives, that Jesus faced all of those things things at the cross the same time He bore our sins, and He bore them for us, not with us, for us, so that we don't have to. He's empowered us to live free from that.
Okay, it's wonderful with insomnia. It's wonderful with high blood pressure, and it is. Yeah. But what about some of these conditions that the best most doctors have are drugs, something like bipolar? Tell me about someone.
Well, a lady came to one of our meetings, and I was not teaching on this subject at that meeting, but she came, and she had been bipolar for over 40 years on all kinds of medication, had tried committing suicide a couple different times, and it was just a terrible condition with the doctor saying, you're just going to have to live this way because, you know, your parents that were this way, and you have brother this way, and so forth. So after living that long, she came to our meeting, got a hold of my book, Internal Affairs, Emotional Stability in an Unstable World, and she read the book, and after reading the book several times, all of a sudden she got the understanding, she got the revelation from God that I don't have to live this way anymore. Jesus bore this for me at the cross, and I can be free. Well, Sid, here's the cool news. She came up to my wife Liz and I 2 years after she was set free from being bipolar, telling us, I haven't been on medication for 2 years, I'm not bipolar anymore, I'm totally free. That peace of God changed my physical and chemical makeup and changed my emotions. I am free.
Larry received a word from God that is going to directly affect you and every person living in America, and I'm going to have him share that in a moment. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.
Dr. Larry Hutton has received a mandate from heaven to impart supernatural peace so you can live stress-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call now and receive Dr. Larry Hutton's 4-part audio CD teaching series, How to Live in Peace All the Time, and his powerful book, Internal Affairs, Emotional Stability in an Unstable World. For a donation of $35, shipping and handling is included. Ask for offer number 9106. Through this book and CD series, you will be set free from emotional disorders, including stress, depression, worry, confusion, anger, fury, panic, fear, and so much more. Learn how to keep your emotions under complete control at all times, under all circumstances. Then watch God answer your prayers for physical healing.
If you're struggling with depression, or maybe you have anger management problems, bad temper, or you're just a worrywart, or just living in stress all the time, we've had so many people get a hold of this teaching and they've become free.
Don't miss out on getting Dr. Larry Hutton's powerful book, Internal Affairs, and his 4-part audio CD teaching series, How to Live in Peace All the Time. For a donation of $35, shipping and handling is included. Ask for offer number 9106. Call, or you can send your check to Sid Roth. It's Supernatural. Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Please specify offer number 9106 or log on to sidroth.org. Call or write today.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Larry Hutton. And Larry, in 1977, received a visitation from the Lord, and the Lord instructed him step by step how to live in total peace 24/7. Now, Larry, you received a prophetic word about what is going to shortly happen in America from the Lord. Tell me about that.
Well, the Lord showed me, of course, most people know the Bible talks about this too, but the Lord showed me times we're going to get worse in the world, and even in America, the financial system and different things in the world, but that I could live in this peace that I've been living in no matter what terrorist activity, no matter what financial collapse, no matter what happens, that if we walk with Him, that we can walk in this supernatural peace, and that peace covers every area of our lives, our physical well-being, our finances, our emotions, even our marriages and everything, that this peace can totally.
Okay, that's wonderful for you. What about me?
Yes.
Can I switch gears? Can I do that too?
You can. Sid can, and everybody watching can, because this is for everybody.
Oh, okay. What happens when you get a tumor and it starts growing, and to the point where your head starts swelling, and you're going around the country saying you can be stress-free, you can be freed of emotional problems, you can be freed of worry, you can be freed of depression, discouragement, having upset feelings, and you're walking around with a head swelling from a tumor. What was causing the tumor?
Well, that was me that you're talking about.
Oh, I know.
And, you know, I don't know. I don't know what caused the tumor, but my right side of my head started swelling. In fact, it became so painful that if I just touched it with the tip of my brush, it would just be excruciating pain. Tumor was growing behind my ear, and it just became so painful. And yet, I was able to take this peace, this fruit that I knew I had, and just say, Lord, I thank you that I have your peace. I thank you, Lord, this peace passes my understanding. I'm not going to get in fear. I thank you. And I'm telling you, fear was trying to come.
Oh, I'm sure.
Depression was trying to come, because when you're hurting like that and you see your head swelling, you feel it.
But listen, so you had the same thing that happens to me, that happens to you.
Yes.
This fear was coming. It was it's like, you know, you think it's you, but it's not you. It's a spirit.
It was almost like a darkness trying to come against me, not just a little bit of fear, but it was almost like just every demon and devil was coming against you. And when I released my faith in that peace, I believe Jesus gave me his peace. When I said that, I'm telling you what, it was like there was a shield put up that none of that fear could get through, none of the stress, depression, worry, discouragement could get through. And I just felt, okay, I'm protected. And because I stayed in that peace, then that healing power of Jesus that I believe in worked, so that now I fought it for a couple of weeks. I mean, it wasn't just an instant healing, but several weeks later, all of a sudden the pain left, the swelling all went down, the tumor behind the ear disappeared, and it all left. And I was totally healed and made whole. So.
Explain to me what worry really is.
Well, worry, the Lord told me worry is perverted imagination. God gave us our imaginations. We're supposed to imagine good things, not worry, which is perverting good things into worrying about this, that, and the other. And so he told me worry is perverted imagination. It never empties tomorrow's problems. It just empties you of strength today. And so without that strength, then you can't face the problem with God's strength.
Now, you said something that I've never heard before, that worry is pride.
Yeah, the Lord showed me that. He said, Larry, he said, when I told you to cast your cares, the very previous verse to that says, humble yourself. So I'm telling you, if you don't cast those cares, you're not humbling yourselves. He said, what you're in essence doing is you're taking me off the throne of your life and putting yourself up there when you choose to worry, be stressed, or any of the negative emotions. He said, if you put yourself up there, you're Lord of your life. I'm not in a position to be able to help you. He said, you have got to humble yourself, because you know as well as I do, Sid, that pride is not going to lead to being lifted up and helped.
Now, you quoted a verse that it's the cares of this life that cause us the problems, the foxes that steal, kill, and destroy. What does the word cares mean in the Greek?
It actually comes from a root word, merizo, and that word means divided, separated into parts, and cut into pieces. And that's what people feel like when they're all stressed and worried and fearful and stuff. They feel like, I'm just falling apart, which is really the root word of this: cut into pieces, divided into parts. And Jesus used that word, I think is in Mark 3, where he said, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. The word divided is that word.
And a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways.
Yeah.
But as Larry just explained, cares is more than double. It's in little pieces.
Yes.
Larry, I really believe this, that if you will pray for those that are watching and lead them in a prayer, that they are going to begin this process of walking in supernatural peace. Would you pray that for them?
Yes, I will.
Because we're coming, the Lord told you that we're coming into the most stressful time in the history of planet Earth. And you know what? You will provoke people to jealousy, because you're going to be on that high road.
Yes.
And it's going to start right now. Would you pray?
I want you just to repeat after me. Just say it with me. Say, Lord Jesus, I thank you that you are my peace. and that you have put your peace inside me, that I can live in this peace all the time. Say, I have the fruit of peace.
I have the fruit of peace
Inside me.
inside me
Right now.
right now.
And I will live in this peace
And I will live in this peace
for the rest of my life.
for the rest of my life.
When I face problems
When I face
and
problems
tests and trials,
and tests and trials,
I will
I will
say
with
my mouth,
my mouth,
I have the peace of God,
I have the peace of God.
and I will let it overwhelm me.
And I'm going to let it overwhelm me. Well, I'll tell you, I feel better over saying that. How about you?
Yes, sir.
What I want to know is, have many, many people reported that for the first time in their life they can really walk this 24/7 like you're doing? Or is that just you? I really want to know that.
Yes, I've really had a number of people. In fact, almost every meeting I go to now, I have people come up to me and somebody will walk up and they'll say, hey, I heard your teaching on how to live in peace all the time 3 months ago. I haven't had a down day since then.
You know, there is a Hebrew word, and I just feel peaceful when I say it. Shalom. It means completeness in your spirit, in your soul, and in your body.
Yes.
And in the name of the Sar Shalom, that's Hebrew for the Prince of Peace, I pray that you walk in shalom, in completeness, in your spirit, in your soul, and in your body. And speaking of body, I believe that pains of all kinds are leaving, especially in the wrist right now. Bend your wrist and you'll see that pain that was there, back, anywhere where you have pain, you're being healed in Yeshua, in Jesus, the Jewish Messiah's name. See, God is good. Taste.
Dr. Larry Hutton has received a mandate from heaven to impart supernatural peace so you can live stress-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call now and receive Dr. Larry Hutton's 4-part audio CD teaching series, How to Live in Peace All the Time, and his powerful book, Internal Affairs, Emotional Stability in an Unstable World. For a donation of $35, shipping and handling is included. Ask for offer number 9106. Through this book and CD series, you will be set free from emotional disorders including stress, depression, worry, confusion, anger, fury, panic, fear, and so much more. Learn how to keep your emotions under complete control at all times, under all circumstances. Then watch God answer your prayers for physical healing.
If you're struggling with depression, or maybe you have anger management problems, bad temper, or you're just a worrywart, or just living in stress all the time, we've had so many people get a hold of this teaching and they've become free.
Don't miss out on getting Dr. Larry Hutton's powerful book, Internal Affairs, and his 4-part audio CD teaching series, How to Live in Peace All the Time. For a donation of $35, shipping and handling is included. Ask for offer number 9106. Call or you can send your check to Sid Roth. It's Supernatural. Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Please specify offer number 9106 or log on to sidroth.org. Call or write today.
Next week on It's Supernatural, my guest moves in extraordinary miracles. He prayed for a woman without eardrums and she could hear. Another lady lost 65 pounds instantly. All of my guests' spiritual senses are activated. He flew to England without an airplane, and now he has been given a supernatural gift to teach you to do the same.